Sometimes I just feel like a trash panda, rummaging through the scraps, grabbing whatever I can get my hands on, and seeing what I can make of it. So today, I'm digging through my collection just to see what I can get into. No plan, no spreads, no aesthetic, just a bit of chaos in one-shot form. In case you're new to this series, the term one-shot is borrowed from Dungeons & Dragons. It's a self-contained story, something you play in one setting. My one-shot readings are like those campaigns. They're standalone tarot adventures, separate from my regular tarot practice. They live entirely in the moment and outside of my journals. Here's what we ended up with in our trash pile. We have the Trash Panda Tarot, the Rainbow Brain Skull, the Amenti Oracle, and the 5-cent Tarot. Well, this is going to be an interesting little combo. And I've got a set of dice just in case we decide we want to do some dice casting. So let's just jump in and see what our trash pandas have to say in this little one-shot reading. Maybe we just get all the decks out first. Let's just get them all out. And we can talk a little bit about each one while I get that last card going and give them each a little shuffle. So we'll just get them out, shuffle them all, see what we've got going on. So this is the 5-cent Tarot, which is a indie deck. And I'm pretty sure I talked about this one a month or so ago. I bought it in alignment with the novel that I was working on, or really still am working on. And I really enjoy this deck. It's a really fun one to play with. It's got some great imagery. There's lots of keywords on it, which is not usually my thing in a deck, but it works really well in this one. Just something about the keywords, the way that they are incorporated into the actual artwork makes it feel like very intentional and feel like I can either choose to work with them or not. 9 times out of 10, I actually do, and that's really telling for me. So really love the 5-cent Tarot. Then we've got this Rainbow Brain Skull. Man, this is one that I need to de-gild this thing because I hate the gilding. But I love the art in this. This is one of those decks that I like make an exception for in terms of some production things. It really is just the gilding. The gilding is just kind of sharp, although it's like holographic, which is cool, but it's kind of sharp. So I might de-gild this one. It's not that bad. I mean, at least it's not like the cardstock's not so thick I can't shuffle it. So this one is just, oh my goodness, it's so fun. It's got so much craziness going on with it, and I just feel like it really matches my energy a lot of the time, kind of like reflects what's going on inside my brain. Okay, then we have the Amenti Oracle. This is one I haven't worked with a ton. I kind of bought it to go with a particular tarot deck, and I've really only used it with that. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays with these other decks here in this little like trash panda reading we're doing. So I could have sat down with some intention with this whole process. You know, probably would have been nice, but that's not really how my one-shots go. If I sit down with intention, it's a different kind of energy. It's a different kind of reading because I'm wanting to like know something specific, right? Because I have that intention set. If I sit down with just a collection of decks like this for a one-shot, I'm just kind of letting the cards themselves tell me what's going on. What do I need to know? Okay, and then we're going to throw our weird little trash pandas in here with it because I really love this deck. It's so much fun. Like aesthetically, it doesn't really go with like anything in my collection, which is kind of funny and also kind of fitting. It's got a beautiful shuffle though. I really enjoy working with this deck in terms of like the cardstock. It's got a beautiful shuffle. It's light and flexible. And actually, now that I'm holding it, it's actually not that light. It's got a good quality cardstock to it, but like it's thin and flexible. I don't know. It's good. I like it. So this one is just full on with happy vibes. But I love these little trash pandas. So let's dive into our one-shot reading. What are we feeling like? I'm feeling like the trash pandas need to come like last. I'm gonna make a little bit of space with all these boxes here because we definitely want to be able to pull cards. Okay, I'm feeling like we're gonna start with the brain skull, and I'm gonna pull that first. We'll just see what we get. All right. Extremely slow long-term growth. That's pretty funny. Okay, so that's our main message is about extremely slow long-term growth. All right, let's see what we need to know about extremely slow long-term growth. I think I'm gonna pull. I think I'm gonna pull an Amenti below it, just to see what we get. And we got, I advance through my own abilities. All right, I'm not entirely sure what to think about that, but cool. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what we've got. I feel like this is gonna be our oddball here, the 5-cent tarot. I'm feeling like that's the oddball. It really, now that I'm looking at these two, they kind of aesthetically go with the Trash Panda, but the 5-cent, not so much. And that's good. That's what I want. I want things to be like mismatched. I want them not to feel like they exist all in the same space. So I feel like this is like the head and the heart kind of. It doesn't really matter. Again, I'm not really assigning positions. We've got the Queen of Needles over here. So I feel like she needs to go right there. And do we feel like another one? I think we feel like another one. And the Universe. All right. The Queen of Needles, which I do believe is the Queen of Swords, and the Universe. So the world, right? And interesting that up here the keyword is infinite growth. So like this whole idea of this is going to take a while. And this one says clear of mind. So you got to get clear of mind in order to create this growth down here. And I feel like that's like a really solid message. Let's go a little bit more in the center of the table now that I've made some room. I feel like that's a really solid message, but now let's throw like some Trash Panda chaos into it, because I feel like that's what we need. Because we've got like this sort of like heart and mind thing going on, right? Like you need to get clear of mind. You know you have what it takes to create the things that you need in order to foster this growth, even though it's going to be like really, really slow. It's going to take you a while. Like this whole world card, right? It's going to keep growing, keep expanding, even if it feels like it's taking forever, even if it feels like you're on the slow path, which like honestly, most days I feel like. And that's great. Like that feels like a very solid message right there in and of itself. And although aesthetically that's a hot mess on the table, but we're rolling with it because we're in Trash Panda world. And so now let's throw a little chaos. Okay, what I'm going to do is just kind of throw some chaos onto the table. Perfect. Okay. So we got the 5 of Wands over here, and I kind of just, in a way, casted my cards, which is kind of funny. We are going to cast some dice, because I think we need some dice in here. But we've got this 5 of Wands here with all of this discord. Okay, so like there's clearly a lot going on in the headspace here that just needs to get kind of taken care of in order for there to be any sort of growth. This little craziness needs to calm down. But over here in the growth section connected to the universe, we've got the Knight of Swords and the Page of Wands. So like taking those ideas and moving forward with them, but also continuing to cultivate, learn, and to grow, right? This is kind of a reminder that we're never done learning and growing. There's always more to be discovered, always more to be explored. And that maybe is where that growth is going to come from, is through that exploration. I kind of like that, but I'm feeling like I want to throw something else in there, like just another like oddball. So let me grab something else. Okay, let's throw this little oddball Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle. This is the like little mini edition. I don't know that I've really used this much, but it's super cute, super small. Oh, did I just mix in? Hold on. I hate when I do that. And keep those out. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to shuffle this little mini deck. I mean, all of my, ranting about shuffling, I mean, they don't really mean for you to riffle shuffle a little bitty deck like this. So we're not gonna. Just gonna kind of give it a little zhuzh here. And I feel like I'm just gonna throw again, or just like we're digging through the trash here. We're trying to unearth the trash that's in my brain. That sounds terrible, but I think it's fun. I like unearthing the trash in my brain. Who knows what we're going to find when we start digging in there. Okay. So let me just throw some of these down. Okay, how are we feeling? I'm feeling like one over there, one there. Sure, one there, and one there. I love this kind of trashy vibe to throwing cards. Okay, so I got the tree over here. I got no idea what these mean, so we're just gonna go off of it, right? So I've got this like tree, this little crystal ball, a wheel, and an octopus, which is really cool. Okay, so I love this. Like, there is this growth happening. There's a lot of chaos going on in the mind. This tree, I do love that it has got like lots of branches, and the branches though are bare. So that kind of gives me this idea of, and I feel like this is like blood splatter, like bloody fingerprints. Like, I feel like this is like all the blood, sweat, and tears that go into the creations. And then we've got with this Queen of Needles and the long-term growth, we've got this kind of like crystal ball. Like, when you get clear of all of this, you can see the growth forward. You can see the path that you need to move forward. And this, I advance through my own abilities, and I've got this octopus here. Like, this is telling me that like I've got a lot of things that I can pull together to help me create this growth. I just need to kind of get them all contained, right? Because like the octopus has got like its 8 arms, but it's all contained in a single body. And so I feel like once I kind of get those all pulled together and I get all the arms kind of working together, even though they're all doing different things, I feel like that is where that ability and that advancement is going to come from with this whole slow growth thing over here. And then I've got this wheel over here. It's going to keep changing. It's going to keep moving this, you know, what I'm working on, what I'm learning, but it is all a part of this universe, this growth underneath, right? It's all connected to here. Even though it keeps changing, it keeps growing, it keeps moving, is all connected. So I feel like actually I've got a really potent message here, and just for the hell of it, because like we're taking out the trash and I clearly don't have enough going on the table, let's throw some dice over the top, because why not? Because I love me some dice casting. So let's see. I tend to use dice when I cast over the top like this as sort of just the overarching energy for the reading. Like, what's the big picture stuff? Like, this is the everyday. This is the mundane. This is what's going on in the head and the heart right now. And even though we've got like big energies like the universe, and we've got like big growth and things like that, it still feels like this is the everyday sort of work. So I'm gonna roll my dice, cast over the top, and see kind of like what that overarching energy is. I love when half of them go off the table. We're just gonna move those in. I'm not gonna change the numbers. We're just gonna move them in so you can see them. But I do like want to make sure I keep in mind that these were way over there. This one is over here. Hopefully you can see it. And let's just dive into what we've got here. All right, I like to start with my D4, which is sort of my source. You know, what's the overarching energy of this reading? And I've got a 3, which is fire. That's related to spirituality, soul, creativity, being perfect for this particular reading. Then we move on to our D20, which is this one hanging out over here. And we've got an 11. Interesting also with this justice energy that it's over here. I do tend to like to kind of have a look at where the dice are on the table, where they land, what cards they're connected to, where they are in terms of the progression of the reading. So over here, this justice energy, this 11 is over in the beginning. So in this mind state where everything is in chaos, which is really interesting because we're looking at sort of that accountability, responsibility, things like that, maybe kind of just like getting all the shit in order so that we can find this clarity that we're looking for here. So then we have our focus, which is our D12, and that's this guy over here, and it's a 5. So we're looking at pleasure, and the D12s in the casting system that Lisa and I created are loosely based on the 12 houses of the zodiac. So this one happens to be ruled by Leo and the sun, and it's really about enjoyment, creativity, hobbies. It was really funny because the other day Lisa and I were talking about hobbies, and I was like, hobbies, what's that? And she's like, yeah, you don't need to turn everything you do into work. So this is interesting, connected here with this extremely slow long-term growth, like the idea of bringing that pleasure and that play into the work in order to help me sustain it, which I feel like definitely relates to sort of the road that I'm walking right now. So then we move on to our D10s, which is our percentiles, and that's kind of like our process. Like, how do we go about this? So my D10s are over here together, which is really interesting. So we have a 60 and a 2. So 62 would be our total. So that's the beginning of the 60. So we're looking at kind of harmony. So the idea of bringing this energy into harmony, again, is kind of sitting over here in this world night page. Like there's a lot going on over here, and this is kind of reminding me that this needs to come into harmony with all this in order for this growth to happen. So then we have our phase, which is our D8. For me, that's kind of like where I'm at in this process of this work. And in this particular association, the 5 is related to wholeness, kind of that integration, acceptance, authenticity. And again, it's down here in this sort of collection where we're looking at, tapping into the abilities with this octopus, and it's sitting here with this universe energy, this page of wands. So really, I'm in the momentum of creating this, of making this happen. I just need to, again, remember that this is slow growth, right? It's not going to happen overnight. And then my D6 is my advice dice. So what do I need to do kind of moving forward? What do I need to take with me? And again, I've got 4, which is harmony. I feel like that has come up, that idea of sort of harmony, wholeness, integration, bringing this all together is kind of where this whole reading is leading. This is how we take this chaos and we turn it into something beautiful, something productive, something that fuels that growth, that long-term growth that I'm seeking. As always, if you want to dig through the scraps for yourself, I've left links for everything I've used today in the description box below. Thanks so much for hanging out in the bins with me today. I'll see y'all again soon for whatever chaos comes next.